So here we are at Wild Waves Theme and Water Park, and yes, I did come here at a time when the Washington State Fair is not going on. I know, I did it wrong, but you know what, whatever. I needed to come at this time of year to make it work out for all the other things I was doing. So I'll just have to come back to the area sometime to get the Washington State Fair. The parking is $25. That does seem a little steep for a small park. There's Timberhawk over there, the S&S Woodie. So the water park opens at 11, the dry park opens at noon. Don't know how much time I'll need here. Depends on how good Timberhawk is, really. The other three, be okay if I only do one ride each. Admission is kind of high too if you just buy it through them. But I bought a ticket through Tickets at Work. If you have an ACE membership, you can use that to get a Tickets at Work membership. And from there, the ticket was $49 plus tax, came out to about $54 and change. So add that to the $25 parking, we're basically paying about $80. So if I can get 4 coaster credits for 80 bucks, that's not a bad deal. Even if I had to pay full price, that would have been about $100. That's not terrible. I paid over $100 yesterday for the 2 parks combined, and I got 4 coaster credits out of it. So it seems a little steep, but it's not really. Apparently they actually opened the water park a half hour earlier than advertised, so the water park opens at 10:30. So if you want to do some water slides, it's good to get here probably about 10 o'clock to be parking and be ready to go at 10:30. I was thinking it was debatable whether I would do any water slides. They're all tube slides. It is a deceptively large park. That looks like a small water park, but it actually covers quite a bit of ground. And it is crystal clear blue skies in the 80s already. I'm guessing the Seattle area is always gorgeous weather, never rains, warm weather all the time. And Phoenix, I guess, is cold and rainy all the time. So yes, even though that Oregon Coast spot that I stopped at last night was pretty chilly, and Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk was a little chilly when I got there, but it warmed up in the afternoon. So my coldest day on the trip so far has been Phoenix. My wettest day on the trip so far has been Phoenix. So Phoenix was cold and rainy, and Seattle, crystal clear blue skies and warm. I think we got mom, dad, and teenagers, or adolescents would be a better way to put it. Oh, over here we got some babies. So the early park opening is the reason why all the water slide lines are super long at 11 o'clock. By 11 o'clock, you're waiting a long time for a water slide. You're waiting a long time to get into the lazy river. All right, it is 5 minutes early, but they already got people on the Wild Mouse. Low capacity ride, family coaster. This is the kind of ride that draws big lines. So get it knocked out first thing. All right, just that quick, got the Zamperla Wild Mouse out of the way. Actually before noon, it just hit noon. And let's see about the kiddie coaster. And another S&O roller coaster on me. S&O number 6 out of possible 28 on this trip. The Arrow loop screws open. Wild Thing. I'm sure it's more wild than the Wild Thing at Valley Fair. The Arrow looper over there was pretty good. Reasonably smooth. Smooth tracking. A couple of the transitions were a little bit janky, but that's what you expect from Arrows. Wasn't that bad at all. Breathing kind of heavy because climbing a mountain here to get to Timberhawk. But I like it. I like that it's nestled in the woods, and I did see a train running with people on it. I did the back row, and this is riding really smooth. For a wood coaster, it had hardly any vibration. There was any vibration, it was very slight. So this is my first S&S wood coaster in over 730 coaster credits. And I'm sure it's a credit to the park, probably, how well this thing is running. The park must maintain this really well. There is not much airtime on it, though. There was a couple of moments during the ride where I felt myself starting to get a slight lift, almost like you're at 0.9 Gs. See, just standing still, you're at 1 G. Somewhere around like 0.9 Gs is where you start feeling a little bit of lift. There were a couple moments like that, and then there was one moment mid-ride that actually did give a pretty good pop of airtime in the back row. I'm gonna see if I can ride closer to the front, not the very front row, because it is on one train ops. So even though it's basically a station wait, that's gonna be about 20 minutes for any row. Front row probably be about an hour. It's busy at the park today. It is a weekend, but it's Sunday. I would have expected the crowd to build later, not to have a huge crowd right off the bat. But yeah, you probably don't have too many people going to church around here. And row 3 was basically the same story, very smooth, but not much airtime. Just the one moment, I think it's on the same hill, where the back gets it kind of going over it, while the front gets it going into the hill, rising up. But that was a really solid moment of airtime in row 3. So you can't say that it doesn't have any, because that one moment really delivers. But the rest of it just glides along with not much force to it. There's some laterals. Not as many laterals as I thought there would be. But it makes this coaster very approachable to everyone because it's not rough at all. It doesn't have any of those jerky turns that some people don't like. I like them because that's what gives you the laterals. And it is a very smooth ride. I'm gonna go check on the kiddie coaster, and if it's gonna remain closed the rest of the day, I may go ahead and head on out. Seems kind of crazy to spend $80 on a park that I only spend an hour and 15 minutes at, but I've pretty much done everything I want to do. Got a good feel for Timberhawk. Don't really feel like I need to ride it again. I would enjoy more rides, but it's not like it's El Toro levels or anything like that where you feel like you gotta ride it a bunch. You got a scrambler and a pirate ship up here. That kiddie coaster is listed as closed along with Safari Jeeps up there. I just didn't see it on my way in. That's okay, I still would have gone in for the other 3 coaster credits, because those are the main ones anyway, especially Timberhawk. But here it is 1:35 and people are still flooding into the park. As many people as were here early. That's nothing compared to what's coming in right now. So what I said about people not going to church or whatever in Seattle, yeah, I take that back. Obviously that early crowd was a light crowd by their standards. As busy as that crowd was, as many people as that was their light crowd. And now the after church crowd is arriving and it is utterly slammed. So even though I was tempted to maybe get a few more rides on Timberhawk before leaving, glad I didn't, because that line's probably gonna get crazy terrible, especially on one train ops. There is a park about an hour away from here that has a small roller coaster. I'm going to see if I can go pick that one up to make up for the kiddie coaster that I didn't get to ride here.